If you guys need help gearing up for all the brand new Grand Theft Auto Online content that's going to be coming out soon, check out G2A with the link in the description and use code BOSS for an extra discount. Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome start to your weekend, enjoying your Saturday. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how much money you're going to need for all the upcoming Grand Theft Auto Online DLCs. Now, we are in the very early stages in terms of what Rockstar have provided for us and what we know, but it can't hurt to prepare. And based off of what we've seen so far, it does seem as if parts of these updates are going to be a little bit pricey. And I know some of you guys want to get prepared and get your wallets and Grand Theft Auto Online bank accounts ready so that when the time does come, you'll be able to enjoy all the content and not stressed about trying to earn a whole lot of money. So although Rockstar hasn't come out and said, this is coming out first, this is second, this is third, we kind of have a good idea of what's going to be coming first, second, and third. We know the first of those things is coming sometime in March, and that is Cunning Stunts Special Vehicle Circuit. Now, a lot of people are wondering, are there going to be any new vehicles here? Is there going to be anything new to buy? And my prediction and the prediction of other reputable members in the community, like Yan2295 and others, state that there aren't going to be any new vehicles in this update. The only thing that Rockstar are going to be adding are the special vehicles, the Rocket Voltic Ruiner 2000 and Blazer Aqua, to the content creator, as well as what looks to be some new stunt props. We saw one of those stunt props, the yellow kind of race strips on the track. So we do know that Rockstar are going to be adding some stuff like that, but there aren't going to be any new vehicles that you're going to need to get. And what's interesting is this was actually supposed to happen within import or export, Rockstar adding these vehicles to the special race creator. However, it seems as if because Rockstar wanted to extend DLCs into 2017, they've kind of made this into its own thing. So there's not going to be any new content, not going to be any clothing or weapons or vehicles or anything like that. And I don't even think you're going to need to buy the vehicles in order to participate in these races. You should just be able to use a stock Rocket Voltic or a stock Ruiner 2000 like you would in any normal race if you didn't own the cars. So there isn't even a need to go out and buy them right now, or for that matter, even own a special vehicle warehouse. So number one, if you own these vehicles already, will you have to purchase any new things? No. If you don't own any of this content, will you have to purchase the existing content in order to participate in these races? No. So for the stunt race circuit, you're not going to have to spend any money whatsoever, which is great for those of you that are strapped for cash and enjoy stunt races, because this is going to be a DLC that number one is free, but also number two is going to be quite enjoyable for you. So that right there is the good news. However, let's move on to some less pleasant news if spending money is not your forte. We got word that there's going to be new game modes and new vehicles that are on the way soon. Now, we don't have to worry about the adversary modes. Obviously, we don't have to pay to play those. In fact, those are probably going to make us money, if anything. It's Resurrection and a new top-down one, but that isn't going to cost any money, obviously. The only thing we have to worry about here is the vehicles. So Rockstar have confirmed 3 new vehicles so far: the Turismo Classic, the Infernus Classic, and then the new Progen GP1 supercar. And the wording on the newswire, as you've heard me touch on in previous videos, is that it doesn't look as if those are the only vehicles. So it looks like Rockstar are going to be adding more classic vehicles outside of the Turismo and the Infernus. So I'm assuming there'll be at least 2 or 3, maybe even 4, 5, or 6 more of the classic vehicles. And then they said new blazing fast rides when describing the Progen GP1. So I would imagine there would be 2 or 3 or 4, maybe even 4 or 5 or 6 new cars like the Progen GP1. So this is when we're going to get a lot of different forks in the road, because there's so many different variables here. Are these classic cars going to be Benny's vehicles? Are the new supercars going to be Benny's cars? Or are they just going to be standard legendary motorsports vehicles that you bring and tune up at the Los Santos custom shop? That right there is going to determine the price of everything. And if I had to take a guess on where these vehicles are going to be priced, I'm going to say anywhere along the lines of $1 million to $2 million. Some of them might even be a little bit higher than that. But for the sake of this video and to keep things simple, we're going to just call it in between $1 million and $2 million. So on the low end, if only around 6 vehicles are added in this classic style update, you could expect to pay anywhere from $6 to $12 million. However, if there's somewhere around 8 to 10 vehicles, which could be possible and would be a nice update, you could easily end up spending anywhere from $18 to $24 million on these vehicles. And that's just a rough estimation right there. And that would be, of course, if you're buying all the content. And I know not every single person buys every single car. You might hate the Turismo Classic, but love the Infernus Classic. So clearly you're not going to buy that. And you might not have a need for every single supercar that comes out. But for those of you guys that want to, I'm guessing that's going to be around the amount. And who knows what else is going to come out with that update. There might be some classic clothing that was featured in GTA Vice City or San Andreas or GTA 3. There might be some classic weapons as well. And I know that's a pretty wide gap between $6 million and $24 million, but once again, it all depends on the amount of vehicles you're going to buy, how much customization you're going to do, and what your style is as well. Needless to say, I'm really excited about this stuff, and you know for a fact I'm going to be buying all the vehicles, and I'll be sure to show them off here on my videos and streams. And then that brings us to the update we probably know the least amount about, which is going to be gun running and more. So I'm not even going to try and guess as to what the more part is. The only thing I'm going to guess about is the gun running part, whether that's coming in the spring or the summer. Now, Rockstar have mentioned 4 big things about this. Number 1 is they described it as a massive update for Grand Theft Auto Online. So as I mentioned in my video the other day, the last time Rockstar used the words massive update for online is when they were describing import-export. And I think all of the content that came out in import-export ended up costing around $40 or $45 million. So if you bought all the offices, all the garages with all the upgrades, every single vehicle, every single article of clothing. Granted, I know everyone doesn't do that, but it was still around $40 to $45 million, which is an absolute ton of money in online. So I don't think it would be crazy to assume that it might cost the exact same amount of money for this one, especially given the amount of content we might see inside, which we'll touch on later. Number 2, they said brand new weaponized vehicles. So you know how expensive the military warstock vehicles are right now. I mean, the Hydra is $3 million. The Buzzard is, I think, like $1.6 million. We know how expensive all the other vehicles are, like the Valkyrie and the Savage. So if you can imagine those vehicles are expensive, think about how much the new ones are going to cost, especially given the price of the special vehicles we saw from import-export. I honestly think the prices are going to be exactly the same as something along the lines of the Ruiner 2000 or Rocket Voltic, just in a more militarized and weaponized form. So that's part number 2. Number 3 is the exciting new missions. Now, with each set of CEO-style DLC we've gotten, it's required a place to do those missions. For the CEO stuff, it's been an executive office. For bikers, it's been an MC clubhouse and the warehouses that go along with it. So I can imagine that when starting your militia, you're going to need some sort of army base or barracks to operate out of, or some sort of military facility. I don't know if that's going to be somewhere in Fort Zancudo or up near any of the army bases or whatnot, but I can imagine that you're going to have to invest in a place that requires you to do that, unless it takes place in a part of the CEO stuff or under the biker umbrella. Then you could just use your MC clubhouse or your CEO office. That's kind of the one variable right there. And number 4, they use the words high-powered military hardware. I wonder if something crazy is going to be added in an update like this, like an aircraft carrier that costs like $10 million, very similar to what the yachts were in Executives and Other Criminals. So that was the super high-priced item in this update. Now, that seems a little bit far-fetched and crazy, but nonetheless, I could still see Rockstar adding something like that in the game because, of course, they know people would buy it, and that would just mean more shark card sales for them. So because we know so little details, I'm going to rely on the 4 really big points that Rockstar have said and what we've experienced with import-export. So I'm honestly going to guess that with all the content, like I said, if you were to buy everything, that $40 to $45 million would probably be a safe bet for how much money you're going to need in order to buy everything. And again, I'll repeat it. I know not everyone buys everything, and sometimes that can be foolish, but there are those out there that are interested in knowing how much it's going to take to get everything. So let's combine that $40 to $45 million with the $6 to $18 million that we'd likely be spending on the Classics update with all the supercars and retro vehicles. You're looking at anywhere from $50 to $60-ish million that you're going to need over the next few updates. Now, granted, this could be the span of 2 or 3 updates, so technically, if you divide that by 3, it's not bad, a little less than 20, maybe 15 million per, but that is still a ton of money. So the bottom line here is that the next few updates in online could be seriously expensive. Number one, given the pattern we've seen from Rockstar in terms of how they price things, and number two, a massive update with lots of military vehicles is bound to get pretty crazy. So bottom line, you guys should start saving up now, taking advantage of this double money NRP stuff, and I think Rockstar's been trying to hint at that for a long time. Ever since the start of the new year, the only thing we've really gotten is double money and RP events. And I think Rockstar has been saying, hey, save up your money because some pretty expensive stuff is coming along the way. And I think that's the case too. And again, I don't know how much time we have between now and when the other updates are going to be released, like the classic supercar one, and then of course the Gunrunning military one. But spring and summer isn't exactly that far away, and you don't want to be in the position where it's just a day or two away from the update and you're seriously lacking funds. So I definitely think it's time to get to work and start saving our money. Now, do I think the amount I said might be a little bit overcautious? Yes. But in my opinion, it's always better to have more money than less money, because you can always choose to not spend your money, but it would stink to be in a position where you really want something and you don't have the cash to end up buying it. But really, that's all the information I have for you guys in this video today. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated if we get more information, obviously, on these updates and the content that's included. But for now, just start saving, because it's looking like you're going to need a whole lot of cash for the future of 2017 in Grand Theft Auto Online. Anyways, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, opinions, and more on how much money you'd need in the comment section down below. If you did go and enjoy this one, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.